You're listening to Built to Convert, the podcast where growth-minded marketers, founders, and creators come to level up. No hype, no guesswork, just bold insights that drive results. Let's go.
Welcome back to Built to Convert, where I talk with growth-minded founders, marketers, and business leaders about how strategy, analytics, and execution come together to drive meaningful growth. This episode is brought to you by Session Interactive. At Session, we help mid-market enterprise brands drive measurable growth through SEO, paid media, and analytics. If you're looking to unlock deeper insights, smarter strategies, and better performance, let's talk. SessionInteractive.com. All right, guys, we got some heavy hitter today. Jeff Haas, COO of Seer Interactive, one of the most respected agencies in digital marketing. One of the respected, a lot of insight, a lot of information, a lot of respect that I have to Jeff and the industry as a whole and the agency as a whole. Jeff's background is unique. He started his career on Wall Street, and over the last decade, he has helped scale Seer into a team of over 150 people with a strong focus on performance, culture, and operational excellence. His journey is a fascinating look at how financial acumen, team building, and long-term thinking can transform how an agency grows and delivers value. Jeff, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for the intro. I don't know who wrote that, but man, it's made me sound a lot better than I actually am.
Hey, Jeff, how we kick these off is a little bit of background. I love hearing about your story on Wall Street. I know your wife's still heavily active in that world. The transition, right, is not typical, right? When we think about, hey, it was Wall Street, then we're going to go to a digital marketing agency is in the sales role. It's unique, and I like the story. I love it. Talk to me about what led to the transition and how maybe you adapted some of those skills from Wall Street into your first position at Seer.
The first half of my career was in finance. Worked at a number of different institutions, and as I was thinking about what I wanted to do next, I wanted to kind of help with a small to mid-sized company, see if I could help in a leadership capacity. Had a role in between Seer and Wall Street. And through that, I actually met, through a nonprofit I'm involved with, a few of the executives on Seer's team. They were hiring for a director of BD role. And one thing led to another. I still ask Will all the time what the heck he was thinking when he made this move. Because yes, to your background, I didn't even know what SEO stood for, if I'm being frank. But usually when the world zigs, Will Reynolds zags. I think what Will was hoping at that time, and he'll probably watch this and maybe he'll comment and correct me where I mess up here, but is continuing to quantify the value of our work, right? We are in a very, especially that time is 2015, the transparency in exactly what we were doing, people understanding the linear path to attribution on the work we did, not being afraid to put a business case and an ROI number against what we do, was something that I think we connected on. I've always loved interfacing with clients, building relationships. And that's sort of what made the move there. And I've always followed this industry, traded in a lot of names and I was very bullish on where this field was going. One thing led to another. It worked out very fortunate. They took a chance on me, and hopefully 10 years later, they haven't regretted it, but we'll find out sooner or later, right?
So you didn't start as a COO, obviously, but what was the first position and what was the team structure at Seer that you started to own?
Great question. It was a director of BD. It was a 2-person team led by Will. My first day, and this is a very true story. I guess it's all getting out there. Will's going to enjoy this. He pretty much told me I'm going on a 6-week tour because he speaks a lot of different conferences. You'll figure it out. You'll be all right. And I remember looking at him like, are we on the same? All right. I had a very awesome 2 teammates at that time who really helped me to bring me aboard, helped me get acclimated with this industry. And we scaled that to a very large team now. I was fortunate enough to start working with our marketing team and sort of build a growth arm, and then starting to partner with our client engagement team, which is our relationship management team. So it was like one growth vehicle starting to come together, and it's grown into from 5 people to about 30, 35 now. I work with a lot of amazing people who push me every day. So I'm very fortunate in that they are the reason why we got to where we are.
It's pretty impressive. I love that. Like, shout out to Will, obviously, around just having that knack for people and understanding, like, maybe taking a little bit of a chance, right? Like, hey, I'm on a 6-week road tour, just figure it out, come along with, and drink the Kool-Aid here. And clearly you did. Talk to me about how your approach to leadership and, in the different positions you've had at Seer, how has that changed in the early days now to where you're at the COO, you're at the helm, you're at, a top executive at a major agency. Talk to me about kind of those leadership changes and things you've learned along the way.
Good question. I told you should have prepped me and give me some questions before this. I'm going all live, but we'll see how it goes.
No, we're gonna go off the cuff. We're gonna get the raw response from Jeff.
The biggest thing I learned when I came to Seer, and I think it permeates throughout the whole culture, it probably starts at Will, is the power of vulnerability. I think most people think that every leader, and I'll speak for myself here, I'm not going to speak for other leaders, that they got it all figured out. But at Seer, it starts from a place of like, not being afraid to say, I don't understand that. Tell me more. I actually messed this up. And I watched that happen very quickly. And it was different from my previous experience where I was like, wow, that's super empowering when people get, and you're very approachable. It's something I learned from and I try to digest as quickly as I could. And that I saw happening across the board. Every person comes into a meeting at that company, you assume positive intent. A lot of people who start, they're like, when's the other shoe? And I was afraid for the other shoe for like 2 years, if I'm being frank. And I would meet with Will every Monday morning. I'm like, when's the other part going to show itself? Because I don't believe this. So it was an interesting experience, but I think that vulnerability, that's starting with a collaborative viewpoint, that's starting with a place of like, hey, I bring the best people around me because they know a lot more than I do, and not being afraid to say that. Like, it's kind of been what has, and I've learned it from a lot of the folks that I worked here, and as well as a lot of our colleagues and people that we work with across the industry. And I found that to be a really empowering opportunity. And yeah, it's been a fun ride. I screw up a lot of things. I get a lot of things wrong, you know what I mean? But it's how do we work on that together? Let's come back together, fix it, move forward. Those are some of the things that I've seemed to have some success so far. And again, the people. I mean, and I know this is like the cheesy thing to say. I'm always shocked by the talent, the level of care. It's humbling every single day that I get to show up with it. So,
yeah, and I'll attest to that too. I've been able to experience current Seer employees and the ex-Seer employees are just incredibly progressive thinkers and really lead with empathy. So I love that too. I mean, there's so many things going on in our industry, Jeff, and it's like no one can know everything. Like, it's impossible, and it's like it's important to be able to say I don't know. Those are key components. Jeff, what keeps you energized in terms and challenged in the COO seat? It's a big role, and there's a lot of responsibility. Is it the trends? Is it the new technologies? Is it the people? And you kind of alluded to that thing. Those are. I'm curious what motivates, what energizes you on a daily basis to keep things rolling and to keep the ship in a really good place.
You really did come prepared. All right. So what I'm thinking is, no, I think especially because it's hard not to hit on the big pink elephant in the room, right? Like, AI is here. This industry is here.
What's that, Jeff?
You might have heard of it. I'll break down the acronyms. But just how fast this is going, and especially in our industry, like I've read a lot about this, and I mean, what we do is one of the most quickly penetrated, whether it's regards to obviously any digital marketing tactical work, but also any kind of engineering, any kind of coding. Like, this is where it's hitting right out the gates. And to be on the forefront of that and be in the industry where it's really getting disrupted, sometimes scary, right? I'm not going to hide that. Like, it's a lot to process and think about, but it's also exciting because if you want to embrace that ride, this could take what we do to the next level. And that's like the craziest part. And I am commonly sharing this with my colleagues and other people in the industry. Anybody who's guessing what's going to happen in 2 years, I think is just like, it's like, and you need to, that's the idea of a forecast, right? Like, a weather forecaster says it's going to be 72 and it might be 68. No one really yells about that. It's just days when they screw up the snow versus like sun kind of stuff. But like, at the end of the day, like, you have to put out your thoughts and put it out there, but trying to evolve with it, creating a system for transformational change, absorbing this stuff, but also you got your day to day, you got a big client load, you got a lot of things, while also trying to embrace innovation. It's something we've been working on. We've been dedicating massive amounts of resource here, and we've been on this train for like 2.5 years. I joke, but it's not like Will was. This is his. He's got a lot of great value, but this is one of his greatest. It's like the idea of what a seer is. It's someone who sees the future and isn't afraid to project out there, right? So like, I remember 2.5 years ago, he was all about, I'm like, at the time, like, dude, this is a lot of noise. Like, you hope you're right. If we're putting a lot of resources into this thing, like, you on this one, you're going to hit this one. But we've been doing it for so long that it has allowed us to create an entire like force at it And even in that, getting ahead of it, it's still such a big thing. But that excites me, right? That to be able to partner with these teams to try to figure this out. And I think this industry is only, it's always been on the cutting edge, but it's only going to, the velocity is only going to pick up, is my opinion. And trying to work on that, create a flexible enough system to absorb it, but continue to deliver at the highest level. That's a challenge. And I don't know if anybody's going to do it perfectly. So every day it gets you up. Like, I got to play my best game today. I got to play my best game the end of tomorrow. And it's always leveling yourself up.
I talk a lot about like intimidation or skepticism in the industry too. It's like, man, there's a lot going on, right? And in terms of the AI bull run, so to speak, and but in Wall Street terminology, let's go. Just around, agencies, it's scaring people. I think there's so many unknowns, but I love how you guys are taking it and turning it into excitement, turning it into a challenge that's yet to be tackled, or it's in the process of being tackled. With AI specifically, we're talking more about the client benefit, and there's intrinsic benefit to what you're doing, obviously on the operational front. What type of process? I don't have to get super granular here, but how much are you guys adapting on your kind of day to day on the operational side, whether it's the sales side or the internal marketing side or the proposal structure or any operational duties that you have? Have you been as bullish in terms of the internal process improvements as you are with the client related improvements? I'm curious there.
Yeah, no, only took us 7 minutes to get into this topic, huh? It's like a world record. It's everywhere. I mean, you can't help it. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to that. So like I said, about 2 years ago, we started to really sink our teeth in, and we had a number of people really, and our VP of AI, Elisa Sharf, who everything I'm about to say, she can definitely check box, but she really took the reins on this and wanted to help lead this. And she was also running our SEO division at the time. And there was a lot of obviously concentric circles there, right? And we started to create an AI council, very focused on absorbing what's happening, trying to make it, and how do you internalize this? We have a full operational arm that is helping to sort of materialize within our offering. So not only are we going out there and we've been really working on, we call it geo, but like helping clients and the brands to optimize for these things. So we've been capturing data for over 2 years. We have like millions and millions of data points, and we're starting to see a lot of trends and having a lot of traction on different experiments we're running. So not only in that client facing and having our clients be prepared for it, but we also have to have our agency prepared for it. So we've been bringing that through that AI council, setting disruption targets, looking at the workflows that we have. How do we upskill our team? That's been a big part. Is like, you can't just say to everybody like, AI light switch on, go.
Yeah,
like,
good.
Just figure it out. We're good. Just. But we've been investing in the technology, investing in the training, trying to create the time and the resources for people, because it's not easy to do that on top of your day to day. And we're not perfect. We're not getting everything right, but we've been really doubling down on this more so than any other innovation investment we've made in history, from a capital point of view and from a time point of view. So taking those steps, getting the team what they deserve, and creating, and this is where I give a lot of leaders in this company, it's a culture of innovation. Like, people here want to learn more. The curiosity is kind of scary. I'm like, man, like, I wish I was like, I look at my 5-year-old, I'm like, that's curiosity. And like, but that is so embedded in what we have here. And I think that is like this driving force, and just trying to be okay with the fact that we're not going to know everything. There's more news out every 4 seconds. We all share, we have lots of threads on Slack. So we're trying to really bring this together. And what we set for a lot of 2025 is very clear targets on what parts of our work we really want to disrupt, what parts we think we can take to the next level. How do we upskill our team to drive? Because I mean, a lot of the technical stuff can have a lot of impact through AI, but the strategic value and the secret sauce of what you do and driving value above that is where I think a lot of agencies are going to thrive. So like, that's been a lot of our focus, but putting the time in and giving the team the operations, the time, the space, the mind space to do it right has been a big focus of ours, and something we continue to try to evolve.
Yeah, it's impressive. Just that, again, it goes back to how you like the culture you guys have put together there, and just to keep a group so motivated and so curious is incredibly impressive, because that's what we need today. Back to more of the client side, Jeff, what are you seeing in terms of expectations that clients are coming? What are you hearing? I know you're not in the day to day anymore, but what are you hearing in terms of how client expectations are changing? Impressions are going up, click-through rate is going down significantly. Social obviously is making a massive push, and has for a long time, in terms of how you digest content. And then of course, LLMs are ubiquitous and, promise to fix everything, and you're getting a kind of immediate gratification. Are you seeing clients that are excited by the change? Are you seeing them frustrated with how metrics and KPIs have to change? Talk to me about kind of your insights there.
There's a lot to that one too. I've been joining a lot of the calls early on as we have been launching this. So I've been getting a lot of I love getting my hands dirty. I love being in it. I think that's where you learn the most, in my opinion, right? So I've been getting to see and hear a lot of the sights and sounds of it. And what we always start with is kind of back to our ethos, is transparency. And the first thing I say is, like, we don't have this all figured out. And if anybody's telling you to, I would run the hell the other way if I was you. That's my opinion. People can take it, people can leave it, but that's how I would operate. But it starts from a place of like empathy. Like, look, I got 2.5 years of receipts to show how much our team, millions of dollars invested in how we've done this so far. And I'm telling you, a lot of these things are experiments, but we're finding trends. We are reverse engineering how a lot of things are starting to yield certain responses in different LLMs. And just setting that expectation out the gates to like, it's like, look, this is kind of crazy. And no one really knows. Gartner says it's going to be 25% of all by 2028. They might be right. They might be wrong. All I know is diversification is the bet I would make. You are seeing a lot of channels starting to take away market share. And I believe that is the future. The way I've been talking about the LLMs, and a team has crafted a lot of great talking points. So this is like an amalgamation of that, but it's like, I compared to SEO 20 years ago. People thought it was a bunch of like, like smoke and mirrors, like, what is this internet thing, da, da, da. But those that went all in on it and created a moat around themselves in that organic landscape, they sure as hell saw their yield. And that's what I believe this next. And now there's not an ad inventory. No one's, I believe it all will be monetized. If you want my Wall Street opinions on that, I can go for many hours on that. But like, it will be monetized at some point, in my opinion. Right now, though, the barrier to entry is low and people aren't really. And if you need to drive down your CPAs because those clicks are getting expensive as hell and those click-through rates are dropping, like, what's happening here? This is where I would start to grab my market share. And I talk to clients a lot about, like, you want like a blended CPA. And I mean that across everything. I'm talking Reddit, I'm talking all your organic social. I'm talking, like, you have to think of it that way. And what we've been doing with a lot of our technology is trying to get all these data points into one spot. Look through our technology is called Signals, but look across Signals, across these channels, and let's find those gaps. We've been doing it for SEO and paid for a while, where it's like, you're paying $50 for that click, but you're sitting on the top of page 2. We think if you got to position 5, that click-through rate is going to match what you're paying and paid. Let's turn, and like, that's the kind of conversation we try to empower our team to have, because right now, if you stick in your silo and your tactics, like, that's the stuff that's going to get, in my opinion, disrupted, right? So that's what we've been trying to like sort of start to generate the conversation around.
100%. I mean, it's just like, it's business immersion. You got a lot of quotes there, by the way. I'm going to start pulling a couple of those. It's business immersion. I mean, the siloed concept is done, right? I mean, it honestly is. I mean, we're still selling paid SEO analytics contracts for sure, and we'll probably continue doing that. But it really, the progressive individuals that like get it, it's like, okay, we're going to start telling a story, and we already are telling a different story, right? How we can immerse in the brand and make those strategic, like, solve problems, right? We're not just solving for Google, right? We're solving for the audience and the search landscape as a whole, wherever that does exist, right?
And Will's been talking about like answer optimization and stuff like that. And I tell the team all the time, and this is something from my background, we are business consultants, in my opinion. We have more data, and there's no one that can argue with me, than any other partner of any brand on the planet. We have more. Like, so thereby, like, and I say that, I'm like, I don't want to just be stuck in your silo where you keep me like talking. I can tell you things about your business. I can tell you where you should expand your operation. I can tell you about new marketplaces that are like, I can tell you about competitors you don't even know their names yet. Like, this is what we have the power of. And that's what I try to tell the teams, like, that's why I think digital agencies need to really raise the game of like, make them think of you differently. Show them the power of the data you have and teach them things about their business they have never thought of before, because you have such an incredible treasure chest you're sitting on. And if you want to stay in your lane, that lane's about to be closed, in my opinion. You got to go up. But that's why I've been talking to the team about a lot, because the idea of everything we do in marketing is help a brand connect with the people that will buy their product or whatever their service or however it is. Now it's, to your point, it's completely like broken down, and it's democratized. Like, it's going everywhere. If you can take that view, ask them what their business is trying to achieve, and then start to bring a lot of strong data to the conversation, you're in a lot of different rooms all of a sudden. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I love, I mean, does it with like account people and salespeople too. I mean, salespeople obviously really latch onto that, of course, but they come back to you, and it kind of reminds me of like the true entrepreneurial spirit, Jeff, around, uh, we've got a solid foundation. We're gonna sell it. We're gonna pitch it, and we're gonna figure it out after, right? And I think it's like around value, because like, okay, you offer, the silo back to the like SEO, paid, analytics, content marketing, right? And it's like this fits in a couple of those. It fits in some other stuff too. Is that tough to? I mean, not tough to get people excited about, but tough to ultimately structure an engagement around. It's like, hey, we know you need to be an organic social. We don't provide that. We'll use a partner, things like that, or we know you need to utilize more design and diversify your assets, but we don't provide that. Is that the partnership opportunities? Yeah, talk to me about that and your thought process there.
Oh, it's a great question. And we're very big on that. And this is something in our ethos. Like, if we don't think we're the best channel, we don't want the revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And having that, but that in itself, and I give Will a lot of credit because I think that's how he built his business, is like that trust, that genuineness, that authenticity. You might not get the deal today, but they sure as hell are coming back. Like, because it's just real. It's like, hey, I don't think you should keep on paying. You do paid search. I don't think you should keep on paying this much for these clicks. I think organic social is probably your play. Here's the 3 people we really love.
Mm-hmm.
And people look at you like, well, how does this work? I'm like, I'm just going to send an email. I'm going to introduce you. And you decide what you want to do. You know what I mean? And that's like, we build a lot of partnership opportunities because you want to give people the best in class. You want to be able to put the best recommendation forward. At the end of the day, you should truly care about their marketing budgets, what they're trying to accomplish. And if it happens to align with your business model, great. So yeah, I think that's to your point. Like, that's something I think people are going to have to get really comfortable with, unless you just want to work with a massive agency that does it all, which has its own opportunities and its own challenges. Yeah. So it's something that we're always trying to work through. What about you? And am I allowed to start? I talked to Tyler before this, and I said, I got to ask you some questions. Here he goes. He's deflecting. I'm trying. My sales background's coming out.
Oh, you can.
But yeah, how are you guys approaching it? Because I'm sure you're running across the same challenges, bud.
Yeah, a couple of points there. One is around, it's something I've adopted, and as Will actually posted it the other day. This is indirectly around, free advice, or giving people your time, right? And before there's an argument like always charge, right? Always charge for your time. Your time's incredibly precious. And I adopted a different philosophy, and it's a philosophy that Will and I really agree on, is just around sharing a Loom video, sending over, hey, this worked for us last year, or whatever. Let me know if this resonates with you. Sharing open source content, right, is a really big piece too. And it's like no one has the secret sauce. I think that was for so long. And so ultimately the goal is just to cultivate deeper relationships. And a concept that I live by is like, you never know, right? You never know what's going to come back around, and and then also ultimately is reputation is all we have. Quality is all we have, right? So there's a big piece of how we live it. But back to like the immersion question is the same kind of thing. Like we do stay, like we say, we stay in our lane, but we ultimately want to do best by you. And if that particular strategy is not adhering or not producing, like, listen, we're going to be the first to raise our hand and state like, this is not is not acceptable. And it's just, again, it's back to the reputation comment. It's like, this is going to hurt our reputation unless we refer you out or say, listen, let's put a pause on that. Let's really blow this up and get down to what we think is going to work. And if that's with us, great. If it's not, that's fine too. One thing I always pride ourselves in, Jeff, is our offboarding process, right? And it's like the performance didn't work out. Client lost the budget. Client got acquired, whatever it may be. And we want to be the best fit for it. If the performance didn't work out, that's unfortunate. We're going to take that in stride, and we're going to crush that offboarding process we're going to meet with your new agency. We're going to give you all the tools and the success. Hey, this is what we feel could have gone better. And we're going to take responsibility for what we think we're responsible for. Right. And really kind of not kill them with kindness kind of thing, but just really get it out there. And again, it's back to that reputation piece. So
it's huge, man. I mean, those who can really lean into that, it's how you build the rest of your business. Like we're very heavily referral based for people leaving certain companies. And then, and to your point, we're not perfect for everybody. We're not the exact fit for everybody. But when you're willing to, and I always, the team's like so good at this, and I'm always, again, humbled by it. I always try to leave it with, because I used to be on the sales front, and obviously we're going to treat you exactly as we did on the way in, on the way out. Because to your point, you never know. And guess what? If it never comes back to me, I don't really care, because it's putting out in the world something my mom would be proud of. And I'm okay with that in itself. You know what I mean? Like, and that I think is the essence of it. So I couldn't agree with you more. And it's cool to see. I remember we were talking before you even started this thing, where you were talking about maybe coming aboard. And all I remember hearing from Lauren is, this guy's incredible. He's in our DNA. I'm like, I got to figure out what the hell that means. I think it was like my first year. But now seeing what you built, man, it's incredible. You should be proud of yourself. Seriously.
Appreciate that. Yeah. And it's an ode and testament to you guys too. I think I told you this, but like we named Session Interactive with interactive piece was, essentially stolen from Seer. It was an ode to you guys. AI expert. I love that comment. It gets me going, right? And we're starting to see, as you guys as well have seen with any service that you're offering and any kind of business immersion that you're offering, is that a lot of clients have been burned, right? They've been burned by the previous agency, organization, consultancy that they've worked with. It's funny, right? As you say, like, if someone is coining themselves an expert in this field, like, let's be clear, right? It's been around for 2-3 years plus. I mean, it's been around very much longer than that, but like the Gen AI, that exposure. How do you deal with, not simply saying, I mean, you have an immense amount of data. You've been doing some really progressive work and publishing a lot of great content, but not positioning yourself. I think you've kind of alluded to it already, Jeff, around like, we don't know what we don't know, but stick with us, because we've got a great foundation. We're gonna test, and we're gonna figure it out. And that's intimidating to some clients, right? They've got large budgets, and you're like, wow, we're gonna take a risk here and invest a considerable amount of money. What's the positioning statement around that?
It's a great question. It's a fewfold. We're very clear about it being experimental. We define the experimentations, like how we're looking at it. We show them their data, because we build a LLM tracking tool where we can show, like, hey, based upon all these keywords, all these prompts, like this is what is sort of yielding results. Here's some of our theories. So we try to make it it's already intimidating enough. So we try to make it a partnership, right? So it's like, look, here's how we're looking at it. Based upon these last couple of years of data and your industry, we're thinking X, Y, and Z, but we keep it super nimble. So it's like after and they're very much more short-term contracts. Our contracts in general are 30-day outs at any point. And that's kind of us putting if we believe in what we are going to do, we don't need it. And that's kind of and I respect all different kinds of models. But that is our MO. So it's very flexible, and it empowers, in my opinion, the user. And when you set that expectation of like, yo, there's 10 experiments. If we hit on one, I mean, this could be a rocket ship, right? And that's the idea. And it's like and I always start with, having to believe that, and challenging our clients, you got to believe in the future of this technology. And if you don't, I don't want to convince you of it. Like, it starts with, do you believe that AI and people finding things through AI is the future? If you don't, we should stop the conversation now. But when you do, we believe we have found some really good signals and some really good approaches to helping brands to start to be more present in them. Here's how we'd approach it.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, my camera is having some issues.
Oh, good. You threw me for a second there. I was like, but I like the side view. It's working for you, bro.
Spin it up. No, it's just an excellent point. And I love the 30-day out. From a business perspective, it's difficult, right, to project. You've got large clients, 30-day out. It's like, whew, Jeff, right? It's like, oh, we signed them, we're excited, and then you're like, what's your business really worth at the end of the day next year? It's really tough to project. But we've adopted that 100%, and it just seems like the right thing to do. It seems like people and clients are less and less accepting of locked in commitments. So yeah, no, I love that component. All right, let's switch gears. You've always given me amazing advice, whether you've known it or not, Jeff, and advice for marketing leaders as they're to trying to get more out of their agencies. I'm curious your thoughts there. We've talked a lot about silos that are inevitable. Hey, you signed up with SEO. I hate it. Signed up with paid media. That's all you're known for, right? I'm just talking hypotheticals here. What would you say to a marketing leader trying to get more value, get more out of their agency that is maybe siloed? I'm curious your thoughts there.
The term integration is widely used and not easy to implement, is something I would say. And that's something I've talked to the teams about. Because we get that. We do a lot of different surveys and feedbacks for people in the company, like what's working, what's not. And we want to be more integrated. And I couldn't agree more. Like, it's a really strong assessment, right? And when I moved over to this role 2 years ago, I was like, okay, integration, hell or high water. I'm like, holy moly, like, this is no joke. This is because it's not something that just happens, right? Like, as much as you want people, and I always say, like, to me, it's setting a clear expectation for your team, no matter what it is, being fully transparent about where you are. We have all hands every month where we share exactly how the company's performing. We are very forthcoming about that. We don't hide anything. We share what the executives are thinking. We get out of executive offsites. I know you just had yours last week, and we bring back right away, like, here's what we're looking at. Here's how we're thinking about it. Continuing to set that expectation for the team and encouraging them, because you can try to set up, and I've realized this, all the systems, all the team structures, everything. But at some point, people just got to talk to each other.
Yeah.
You got to have the curiosity to go say to someone on another team, like, the hell did you do that? And just like start that, right? Because like, and that's what I realized is like, and we've gotten a lot better, but we have so much more room for growth on this. But when we've been putting out there the SEO to paid integration since like 2018, right? And it has so much value. We are showing people so many things about their business, about their brand, about their marketplace, if you will. And it's incredible, but there's still things that we fundamentally can get better on, where the client experience, which is where it all starts. And that's what we try to do. They feel like it's one experience? And if they don't, what are the breakdowns? And I think you almost have to meet a lot of clients where they are, and everybody's understanding of integration is very different. And then how they work internally, that's another big one that you're like, oh, I built a beautiful design. And I was like, well, that don't work because I got a team over here that does the site implementation. I got the team over here that actually takes care of all it. And you're like, oh, crap. So I think it's always something like anybody who thinks they've ever figured it out, I would challenge. But I think it's all about that communication. That's why I've been finding the most is like, I just have leaders talk to each other. I'm like, did you hear what they said? Cool. Let's get our teams in a room. And then they have a relationship. So then they almost naturally gravitate. And then the system you build around that is where you start to scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Communication, right? It's easier said than done.
Especially in this world, right? You're not sitting next to somebody.
Well, it's just, I think we've done ourselves a disservice over the years, right? Of, hey, we got a pitch coming up, and it's SEO, analytics, and paid. And you've got your own sections, and just go out and attack it. And there's no, you have like an interesting or a overview call and try to have like kind of fake this level of integration. But let's be clear, it's not all or easier said than done, right?
And it's such a hard thing. And we try to align it back to what are they trying to solve for? And that's what we've been trying to really start our conversation with. Like, we heard that you are worried about this CPA, you're worried about this competitive aspect of your competitive landscape, and you're worried about, cool. And then to your point, I tried to tell him, like, don't put any breakers. There's no breakers. And don't even have to introduce, like, let it just happen naturally. And the thing we've been doing a lot more is, I believe the best consultants ask the best questions. That's where it starts again, why I just want to start asking you questions and stop talking, because this drives me nuts. But you're a good friend, so I'm going to do it. But like that being said, of like, you start to ask the questions, and like, they don't need to know that, like, oh, this is the SEO section. It's like, this is how people are interfacing with you through Google right now, or through whatever, right? And then they see these ads, and like, and it doesn't have to be like, well, that's like, no. What I'm trying to do is create this. And then when you get to their site, this is the experience they're having. Here's how we think. And they don't even need to know. And again, to your point, like, it's so easy to say in a vacuum, but then implementation is not. But I think if you start to create a relationship and that dynamic and the communication at that level, you have, and we've been building a lot of additional layers in our client services, where we have project managers and account directors who are sort of the face of a lot of our relationships, and trying to sort of hone that in. But to your point, people will not, and I respect, and I say to the team, I'm like, I get it. You got to do your thing. But it's just, I want the team to also like increase their value and their pedigree. As you learn more about these other channels, you become more of that multimedia like play. You can really take your career. I want to invest, and I want them all to be with us forever. That's my goal. But if they don't, the more they learn, I think the better off everybody's going to be.
That's such a brilliant concept, and just something around career development, right? And then like your personal brand, right? At the end of the day, and you guys do an immense job around allowing your team to have perspective, of course. It sounds weird, but within the blog and showcase their expertise and dedicate time for innovation and asking questions around it. So yeah, and yeah, you're right. It's like at the end of the day, will people, you'd want people to stick around as much as possible, but you try to convey the benefit that, hey, we want you to go off and tackle this. We're going to dedicate time for you and resources for you to learn. It's a career development opportunity you're giving them.
So true. And that's kind of what we talk about with AI too. To be honest with you, it's like,
yep.
I didn't choose for this to come, but it's here. And my belief is it's never going away. But like, this is where you have a company that really wants to invest in your growth and your development here. And we're not just saying that, like, we're literally putting our money where our mouth is. So like, it might be a little bit more, and it's a lot to process, and I respect that. But how do we really set everybody up for success, create a good balance, obviously? But it's a big part of it. And it's people reinvesting in themselves. Because we hire such great people. I just want to keep them hungry and keep them wanting the next thing. And that's something we try to focus on.
Yeah, massive stuff. I really enjoy it. In terms of your career at Seer, it's 10 plus years you've been?
We're coming up on 10, yeah.
Impressive, yeah. Let you take you out, get you some drinks on the.
You said you're coming this way this summer, man. I told you I wanted to sit down with you and Will. I think we would love to meet you.
100%. Yeah. So it's amazing. I've never met him in person. What's some of your proudest moments? I mean, listen, you've transitioned from BD to running that team to ultimately the COO. You've seen an immense amount of change within the industry. You've seen an immense amount of growth within your agency specifically, and how you guys work and immerse yourself with clients. A lot of moments to be proud of, I'm sure. Is there one or two that sticks out that you're just like, man, when I think back at my career, I'm going to really think about and remember those particular times or moments, experiences?
I can't believe you don't give people a chance to prep for these damn things. That's really messed up. I can barely say articulate things when I'm prepped, let alone when I'm on the spot. There's two parts that I'm like just quickly coming to my head. The first one was when I was on the growth side. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I first got here, not knowing anything and having to be responsible for representing it was intimidating as hell, man. And I'm like, you question yourself, can I do this? And what I did really quickly was start to really partner with all the SMEs and create a lot of like sales engineering opportunities where they would come in. Because at the end of the day, what we sell, I say this all the time, is the least tangible product on the planet. It's how someone thinks. So how do I sell how Susie thinks? I bring Susie to the table. I let Susie present, right? And there's a moment that we had in an all hands, and it was really bothering me because I was standing in front of all of our all hands. That's like our company meetings. And we had a great run, 2017, 2018. It was just, it was awesome. It was incredible. But I'm standing up there and everybody's like, and I'm like, nah, screw this. So I got the whole company up on the front and I sat down, I took a picture of it because like, that was the essence of it. It wasn't some like cute, like it was real. Like, and I've thought about this so often. I'm like, so many of these people have my back every day. They're jumping in these pitches. They're like, how the hell am I up here? Like, this doesn't feel right anymore. And that is a moment. I have this picture, and it's everybody in the front of our 7th floor. And then I had the people in San Diego do it as well. And had Will take a picture. He was out there. It was just something for me that I was like, feeling truly part of something like that was something that just blew me away. And it will definitely, I remember the number that was up there. I won't say it because we're obviously being recorded. It was incredible what they did. And I was humbled to be part of it. I think the other thing would be just how we navigated COVID. I remember my son was born March 2nd of 2020. Wow. And yeah, so that itself was enough to, every doctor was like, yeah, we have no idea what this is. Just stay away from it. I'm like, all right, okay. All right, this is what I got. Okay, cool. But coming back and seeing how many things were mobilized around taking care of our team, taking care of their families, how quickly we jumped into so many things. And like so many people were just, it started from a place of like, how are we going to do this together? It was never someone just, everybody's looking to the left and right. And it's scary enough, right? But to know you got 200 people that are sitting there. And that was like the most humbling thing for me. And then watching it, and we didn't get it all right. We scrooched it up. I'll be the first to say that, right? But our heart and our intent was in the best places. And watching how we evolved from being this very in-office kind of company, like where we just had all these offices, everybody wanted to be there, was great, to like all right, we ain't going to see anybody for a long time. Then you start hiring from, and it's just, and again, we're still working on being the best remote company and culture we can be. But I got to see behind the scenes of so many decisions that were made that no one will ever see. And there's nothing we'll ever talk about. But I say this all the time. I went to bed every night. No, my mom was proud. I might not have always got it right, but I knew my mom was proud of how we did it and what we were trying to do. And that's something that will always be with me.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, yeah. Not only being able to like kind of run the company, but also have a kid during COVID is an impressive feat. Yeah. Jeff, it's great to chat with you and always appreciate your time. And I'm going to make it a point to come out to Philly, see some family, but in certain cases, I definitely want to see you guys and come chat. Where can people interact or engage with you and Seer? Talk to me about that.
Yeah, obviously our website, seerinteractive.com, LinkedIn, Twitter, we're all over every social channel at this point. And we're trying to put out the thought leadership to help this industry move forward. If it turns out to be something that works out, it's great. But we just want to keep on pushing the industry forward and bring everybody with us because, to your point, it's a hard time to figure all this stuff out. And if we all don't have each other's six and looking over each other's back, how the hell are we going to get through it? So that's been and we just want to keep on putting it out there, putting on a lot of events, got a webinar next week. But yeah, definitely check us out if you can. Also check out Tyler and his team. They're a hell of a group. And yeah, when you come out to Philly, we're going to flip the script. I'll get to put you on the hot seat. You can be, I'll do my own. You can be all of our social. But we can definitely flip the table on this one.
Yeah, good to see you, buddy. Really appreciate your time and your perspective. Really impressive stuff, and excited to see how you guys continue to evolve. We'll chat soon.
Thanks for the opportunity, buddy. I'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Built to Convert. If you're serious about growth, don't just listen. Subscribe, leave a review, and follow us for new episodes that drop straight into your feed. Until next time, keep building.